another episode of Easy Talk, real talk for true entrepreneurs. On today's show, you are going to be in for a phenomenal treat with Mr. James Kelly. Now, he's been in the game for probably almost 2 decades as an entrepreneur. So whether you're just starting out or you're looking to enhance your business, this episode is going to give you some valuable insights on strategic plans to use, how to overcome your failures, and how to set boundaries. So welcome to the show, Mr. James Kelly.
What's up, everybody? How you doing? All you entrepreneurs out there. Hopefully I can give you some tidbits to help you along the way, save you some time.
Exactly.
That's what we do this for. It's time first.
Yeah.
And you can always make money, but save some time getting to that goal. I'm happy to share with you.
Great, awesome. Thank you for being on the show. Now, before we get started, let me tell our audience just a little bit more about you.
Okay.
Mr. James Kelly is a native Memphian. He received his master's degree in business management from the School of Business and Industry at Florida A&M University. After internships throughout his college career with companies like FedEx and International Paper, James worked right here in Memphis at the ServiceMaster Corporation. In 2006, James left the corporate world and launched the KGR Group, Kelly Green Restaurant Group, which then invested in a series of quick service restaurant concepts like Lenny's Grill and Subs, which has 6 locations, by the way, Stage Left Bar and Grill, and Rumbling Joe's Coffee. With around 100 employees, the KGR Group has a strong sense of community by hiring from local neighborhoods, providing ongoing training for employees, promoting from within first, and supporting various community organizations through donations of food, finance, and time. Now, being DBE and WBE certified, the KGR Group has won various awards from local organizations and the Lenny's Sub franchisor for year-over-year growth, top sales, and service. James has always been involved in the community as a 25-year participant in the Manna Outreach Food Program, delivering food to families and seniors all over the city, and a Serve Point Program volunteer as well. He is also a member of Leadership Memphis and a participant in the Society of Entrepreneurs Roundtable Program. Recently, James served as a spokesperson for partnering with Shelby County Schools, along other organizations and citizens who believe education is the key to uplifting your community. Now, James looks onward into the commercial real estate development with his company, JKG Properties, looking to expand to mixed-use, retail, and hotel development opportunities. Once again, welcome to the show, Mr. James Kelly.
Thank you.
Phenomenal bio. You've been doing a lot of great things.
Oh, I appreciate that. That comes from what I mentioned before, time, bumping my head, figuring out what makes sense and what the next logical move is to expand my business or create more time, make more passive income. You know, it's all about experience and becoming more efficient with what I do.
Yeah. So many of our entrepreneurs in the audience, they're either an entrepreneur and they work for corporate America, or they may have just recently left corporate America. What gave you that shift? Take us back to that time where you said, I think I'm going to do this, and you literally left corporate America.
That entrepreneur spirit is in you, I believe. I don't think that it's something that came upon me at one particular time. When I was a kid, I was planting pennies in the ground, trying to grow money trees. It was always there. So you have that itch in you, but a steady income of a job or a college degree, there's nothing to scoff at. You know, you want to establish yourself out here in the world. It was my plan B, if nothing else. So went to school, did what I was supposed to do, did what I was told. You know, I know there's a lot of glam around the bad boy hustler type lifestyle, but no, I need that steady income. I need a plan B because entrepreneurship can be scary and it can be iffy and it's not guaranteed. So worst case scenario, I'm right back in that corporate world getting that paycheck every 2 weeks. But I think what clicked for me was when About every year or two, there's a project efficiency or project edge or project sharpening that goes on in these corporate companies.
True.
And I worked alongside great individuals who knew what they were doing, extremely loyal to these Fortune 500 companies. They may have been there 10, 15, even 20 years, but about every 1 or 2 years, they get shook up. This project efficiency happens.
Yeah.
And they're shaking at their desk. One, going in
Am
for
I
their
next?
Yeah, they're going in
Yeah.
for their interview to find out if they're going to be laid off. And I never wanted to be that person. I never wanted to feel that way, especially after such loyalty and dedication of my time. So I slowly but surely started dedicating a little bit of time at the end of my day to looking at a couple properties here and there and whatnot. Just trying to build up an alternative way of cash flow, an alternative asset growth there that could generate another way for me to be okay should project efficiency come my way and say, James, we don't really need you right now. The economy is not conducive to your job at this moment. So once one property turned to 5,
wow,
start seeing a little bit of cash flow.
that residual income start kicking in. Yeah.
Once you start building up a decent amount of passive income, you start thinking, what would it take to equal what I'm doing here? And then there's other opportunities that present themselves that can supplement that with your time. And eventually I left when I felt comfortable that I'll be able to maintain the lifestyle I had. And of course, at this time, I didn't have kids or a family to take care of, which is optimum. The longer you wait, the harder it is. The more courageous, the more of a challenge it is to take that leap. But that just means the more you have to build up that passive, those assets up, because you have some more responsibilities, and that's fair enough.
Yeah, that's a great point. And I love the way you said you slowly but surely really kind of added on some additional income to see what else it was like. You weren't waiting for the shoe to drop.
Right.
Like, there is no shoe to drop. There is no option of a shoe dropping. These are some things that I want to do. And when you do them at your own risk and in your own timing, there's no pressure. Just like you said, one house turned into 5, or one piece of property turned into 5. And it was just something that you continued to do. You still went to work and had that steady income. But when you felt comfortable enough, you was like, okay, it's time for me to go and venture out. It's really good to test the waters first to see how it's going to go.
Just a little here and there. Just pick up one where you can. I mean, if you set aside a little bit of money here and there, and it doesn't have to be a lot, but act like that money isn't there. Sweep away $100 per paycheck, and all of a sudden you might have a down payment for a tax sale property or something. But about that corporate world, I mean, if I could pull you to the side and get a little bit of ghetto with it, it's like you're either pimping or being pimped at all times. There's no 50-50 in this. So
that's good.
If you're sitting around waiting for them to lay you off, you're being pimped. If you're building up your own way out, then you're pimping the situation. Not in the negative sense of the word.
But you're doing it your way on your time. You're controlling the narrative.
Yeah, you're in control.
Yeah.
You're in control.
Either way, you're in control. But when you release the control, then you've got stress and pressure to keep this one job.
And the longer you wait for them to feed you every 2 weeks, the more you get used to it. And you don't know what it feels like to go get it, or not have food if you not eat what you kill. You're waiting for them to feed you at the zoo every time, but you weren't built like that. All right.
It's that survival that's in you. Like, what do I need to do to survive? And one thing I've learned, so I've been an entrepreneur for about 5 years now. And one thing I learned about me is that I'm much tougher than I thought.
Right.
I'm much tougher than I thought. And I could do more. I mean, you think, oh, I'm tired and I went to work 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. But when you're an entrepreneur, you've got a passion, a drive in you that you'll work 7 days a week.
Yeah.
It's like whatever it is that I need to do to survive, you're in survival mode.
Absolutely.
And that's how you grow and you take more risk and you have more opportunity. And when one worked, you try another one. And one worked, you try another one and you try another one. And before you know it, like me, it's been 5 years and I wouldn't dare go back. But if I had to, I would know how to go to work that job, do my very best, and keep my side thing going.
Absolutely. There's people I mentored, especially during COVID, that who were in the sales industry, for example, who were laid off.
Yeah.
There's nothing to do, and were afraid. And I mentored them, and they've started their businesses, and they wouldn't dare go back. If you can do sales, if you have the courage to go knock on the door, cold call somebody, say, "Hey, I'm so-and-so, and I know you don't know me, but I think you need this product or service." Why can't you do that for yourself?
That's a great way to look at it.
And when I started as an entrepreneur, it was sun up to sundown, and I would wake up every day. People don't know this. I would wake up every day sick to my stomach.
Tell the truth about it.
Physically sick, because I didn't know what challenge I was going to face that day. I didn't have it, and nor did I have the experience to know the answer. But after I got into it long enough that the challenges started to repeat themselves, I then knew to create the system. And once I created a system, it stopped the fire before it started. Then I started getting new fires, but the old ones weren't happening anymore. So that's progress. So, I mean, that's kind of what
and
it
you
takes.
learn from them.
Yeah.
You learn what not to do the next time.
Yeah, that's your system. And then you get bigger fires, but be thankful for the bigger fires because that means you graduated to the next level.
And you're learning.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You're evolving, and your business is evolving. So.
And growth hurts. Like that's a real thing. Growing pains is a real thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a real thing.
And let me also say this is that it's your reason. If money is your only motivation, you ain't gonna make it. You gotta be passionate about what you do. You gotta love what you do. It's gotta be something you do for free. I look at real estate because I'm interested in it. I love doing it. When I leave here, I'm going to go get with my property manager. We're gonna go look at some properties. And I've been doing this for 20 years. People I mentored are doing really well. They're riding Lamborghinis and Bentleys today. And I was doing some other stuff, but the point is that if you love what you do and you're passionate about it, you're not working anyway.
It doesn't feel like work.
It's not work.
It doesn't feel like work.
And if you don't love what you do and you are doing it for the money, then you're gonna get outworked. Because I'm getting up looking at properties because I want to. You get up looking at properties because, I want to make an extra $100 a month. Well, I'm gonna outwork you every time. When you're tired or you don't feel like it, you're not gonna do it.
Because you don't have nothing to get you up. There's no passion there.
Right. I'm gonna do it because I like to do it.
Yep.
And that ain't your calling. Find what you're passionate about. Or it could be feeding your family, whatever the case. But something gotta motivate you.
You gotta have a why.
Yeah, just the dollar. That's the entrepreneur.
Because you can't chase the dollars. You'll never catch up with it.
No, it
You'll
comes
never
and goes.
catch up with it.
And the market changes. What was hot, last year ain't gonna be hot this year. And when it is hot, everybody chases it. Everybody's rushing to it, especially us. So you want to find your niche. That's for you. That you're passionate about. Because when it's not hot, you got to find another way to do it. But you got to be passionate about it to figure it out. You got to know this game inside and out.
Yep. And that's one of the things about having a passion and really digging into something that you love. You got to know it. I had a guest on the show, and she owns K's Paints and Scoops. And she went to school. She literally Googled how she could go to school to learn more about how to make ice cream.
Wow.
I was outdone. Exactly. I was like, wow. Now, she was doing very well. She was getting like 100 orders every week, just making ice cream, something she liked to do on the side, and she had a full-time job. But she cared so much about her brand, and she was so passionate about what she was doing that she said, let me find an expert that can teach me and show me what I can do, because I don't know what I don't know. So to your point about being passionate about something and not chasing a dollar, you got to be open and willing to learn and make mistakes so that you can grow and continue. Otherwise, you're in a rat race, and you may as well stay in corporate America.
And you with the you average. You with the
Oh,
you
that's a
with
low
the
hit.
me and the other people who are serving that same type of ice cream, but her ice cream hits a little different. It's got that chunk of pineapple in it, or that extra thing that makes people pay for it. Pay a little bit more for it, different price point, line up for it every day. You've seen that. You've seen that
Yeah.
that one product that people line up for.
Apple.
Right? It's something different. They had a standard. The standard hits different when you're passionate about what you do. Yours is a little bit higher. People pay more for it, and it makes a difference because you get bored trying to serve 1 million people and your profit margin this small when you could have served 10 people and made the same amount of money because you were passionate about what you did. You found out what is that one special factor, that X factor to make sure it's different.
Yeah, that differentiator. What makes
Yeah.
you different? And a lot of times I found talking to entrepreneurs and even myself, your differentiator is already in you, but it's so deep. If you don't take time to meditate and study your craft and get around some iron that can sharpen you,
Yeah.
you won't bloom with it.
Yeah, I mean the people who don't understand, people who don't see your vision. Oh man, I mean it feels like haters, but it's not that they're haters. They just don't understand.
They don't. It's your vision.
Yeah.
It's yours. It belongs to you, and you have to craft it.
And that's why they say you don't tell everybody what you're doing.
Oh wow.
But they see it. They see it when it's over, and then they're all in line. They're your cheerleaders then.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just go do your thing.
Yeah. Today's episode is sponsored by ACG Brand Management, a brand valued focus company that focuses on the value of brands for organizations as well as individuals. So what kind of strategies did you use to help you overcome and gain the success that you have today?
Oh wow, I mean that's a broad question. I guess first, understand what you like to do, what you would do for free. What are you gonna do? Figure that out first. Second, I had a lot of help. Let me also establish that. I had a mother who was a genius business-wise, hard worker.
Yes.
Out of Mississippi, and that's what some of my haters like to point out. I ain't had that help. I ain't had that support. I mean, but in other cultures, we'll say other cultures, they always had that help. That's not. That's a moot
That's a
point.
given.
Right.
Right.
They're gonna help each other. But when we get help,
So and so had to help you.
yeah, I get it out the mud by myself. Like I said, I'm not with that glitzy, glamour, hustle stuff. You have a network, use your network. Go network. Show up at functions. Show up where they're going to be at. Even if you don't know the people there or you don't know what's going on, if there's something you're interested in and they're going to have some sort of mixer going on or there's some community outreach event, just show up.
Be there.
Show up is half of the battle, and you don't know who you're going to meet, and tell them why you're there, and inevitably you'll make a connection. They'll get used to seeing your face. They know you're serious about what you're doing, first and foremost, and from there they'll open up to you.
They'll see your passion. To your point earlier, they'll see your passion.
Yeah, and then they want to show you. My hand is always open. If you're ready to hear what I have to say, I'll show you the whole world. And I end up learning something from you anyway. You never know that you've mastered something until you can teach it to somebody else.
That's true.
So when I'm teaching somebody something, I'm also making sure I've mastered what I'm teaching. I'm also reflecting on what I actually learned because, as an entrepreneur, you're just going forward. You don't reflect a whole lot.
Yeah.
So being able to mentor, being able to help somebody coming up is a way that I reflect on where I've been. Well, man, let me show you. You over here. Well, let's start here. Let's go look at some land. Let's look at some plans here. How you get in the game? Well, let's try. What resources do you have? Well, let's try this way. Let's try that way. Then I was like, oh, that's how I did it.
That reflection comes.
Yeah. So it's good for me. It brings me some peace, and it reminds me of how far I've come. So I enjoy doing it. So I mean, and somebody did that for me.
Yeah.
Somebody did that for me. So.
And they give back too.
Yeah.
It's important. To me, it's an obligation. I was asked to be an adjunct professor at Lane College, and the first thing I said was yes. Didn't know what I was going to teach, didn't know what he wanted me to do, but I had an obligation to young people to help them to live a better life and really kind of not make some of the mistakes that I made, some mistakes that I know other adults have made and people that have mentored me have made. I was like, yes, anytime I get an opportunity to be with young people, I do it. I get over to the school and they want me to teach mass communications. I'm like, wow. I walk in the building, we got a podcast show already going, studio for that. They got a radio station, they got a studio for that. They got a TV show, studio for that. I'm like, this is all the things that I wanted to do.
Like, look what we doing. We
Like,
sitting here
I
now.
can't believe this. I can't, I was like, I literally, you can't make this stuff up. So my point in that is when you're passionate about something and you're not chasing the dollars and you really have something that you want to do and you've got that give back and it helps you to say, I did it this way. Hey, let's not do that or let's try this. Again, that reflection you learn and you can pass it on.
Yep.
There's nothing like it. I think we all have an entrepreneur in us. It's a matter of how far you want to take it. What are you doing with that entrepreneurial spirit that you have for the gift that you were given?
Yeah, and it matches up with your passion.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. And the dollars will start chasing you.
Right.
You start getting the phone calls. You start getting the emails, the inbox messages.
That's the goal.
That's
That is
the goal.
always the goal.
It's always the goal.
Whether your business is one where you have to sell to somebody, hey, come eat my sandwich at Lenny's, you know, or it's a business where you're sitting in a warehouse and people are looking to store their stuff. You know, you want them to come find you because you're the best at what you do, or your product or service is so desirable, so in demand that they have to come find you. You always want them looking for you.
And that's sacrifice. So there's a lot of sacrifice on the front end of that to build your brand. You talked about earlier, literally
standard.
every day, being sick to your stomach. But you sacrifice and say, I got to go show up.
Yeah, the person I was working for, who I was partnered with, but I had to take on all of the things that that partner didn't want to do. You know, I think he kind of fired me like 4 times. Like, you know, it was rough. You know, he wanted to chill in his flip-flops and T-shirts and shorts, and I had to come in and go through stacks of paperwork this deep, you know. But he earned that right.
Yeah.
He had gone before me, and he had done these things already. So, oh, you want to partner with me in this restaurant? And that's another thing. If you want to get into something and maybe you don't have the resources, or maybe you don't have the experience, partner to your weaknesses.
Yeah.
Partner to your weaknesses. If you want to get in the game, just partner to your weaknesses. Whatever you don't have, find that networking, that showing up. You're going to find somebody who has what you don't, but maybe is busy. Maybe it's gotten so big they don't have time for that grunt work. Whatever the case, look, be that partner. I'll do that. Bring me in the game. Show me what's up. And now you're in the game and you got a partner to show you the ropes until you get big enough to be that person, you know, or the person you need to be, or independent completely. So partner to your weaknesses is another good point.
That's a very good point. Partner to your weaknesses. What is next for KC Hospitality? What is next for James Kelly? What does life look like for you 5 years from now?
See, I just said we're not talking about what we're doing. We just doing it. You think I don't practice what I preach? I learned this the hard way. I would sum it up as this. In Memphis, at least, it should be next for the wave. You know, if you have an opportunity to own a piece of Memphis, I suggest you do. In a lot of major cities, you see where there's a flight out of the city into the suburbs, and then the property value goes cheaper into the downtown, midtown areas and surrounding areas of South Memphis, and so forth. And then they're going to eventually come back and fix it up and build it up. There's some plans out there. I would grab a piece of that pie, if at all possible, because if that stays down, Memphis cannot come up. And the wave is hit your Atlanta, and it's spilled over to your Nashville. It's over in Dallas, you know. All our surrounding cities are doing pretty well. Memphis may be next, should be next.
Deserves to be next.
I agree. We got some good leadership,
Right.
some young leadership, and who's forward thinking. So what's next for me is getting a piece of that pie. So when the wave hits, you know, I'm there. Try to go buy some real estate in the middle of Atlanta off Peachtree, you know. Try to go buy some real estate off Broadway in Nashville right now. Can't do it.
No, sir.
But you can buy some real estate off Union. You can buy some off Poplar right now. Main Street, you know, downtown Memphis. You can do that. So I would look to doing that, you know, getting ahead of the curve. Don't try to make your plans when the market's up. When the market's down, find places where everybody's running from. You run to it with your cash, with your assets, with your partners. If you don't have that, you run to it with the vision, and you establish yourself. So when the sun shines your way, you're already there with your sunglasses on, ready to grow. So if Memphis catches that wave, when Memphis catches that wave, I plan to be there with my sunglasses on, you know, with some real estate and some major thoroughfares that I don't plan on passing down to my kids. I don't plan on passing down sandwich, you know, shops. They don't want to make any sandwiches. You know, a lot of times passing down for you entrepreneurs who are at that point where you've established your business, you pass down the business, your kid's not likely you're not going to be as passionate. Passion doesn't usually just go in DNA. You know, it's not going to be passed down to your kids. They may not like what you like, but you can pass down some passive assets, some passive income, some things that could give them an opportunity to find their passion, so they're not doing something they hate. You know,
just because it was passed down to them, they feel that obligation to have to run it, but they're not passionate about it.
Or they don't have a job because they got to pay a mortgage. You know, my goal is to give the next generation a chance to figure out what they love, and then if they do, they love their wealth and their assets will come the same way. People are gonna chase them down with dollars. Here, do this for me. Show me how to do that. You know, give them the opportunity to do that. So these things I'm talking about, catching the wave, you know, getting a piece of the pie, passing down these assets to the next generation allows them to do that. And that's what other people and other cultures do for their children. So that's next for me is doing that, creating more passive income by establishing those type of investments. Other contracts based upon some of the contracts I have now in the industry of concessions and things like that. As you see that what I'm doing right now, larger ones, larger markets. So based upon the experience that I have. So that's what's next, but more time, more free time at the same time. I enjoy, you know, time with my kids. The one thing I'm doing right, the one thing I think I'm good at is being a dad.
That's awesome.
That's one thing you can't take. But no matter how that turns out, however they turn out, how they turn out. But
you were a great dad.
Yeah, I'm a great dad. I feel like I took my time back first as an entrepreneur, like I said in the beginning. And so I enjoy doing more of that. I got a few more to get out the nest, and then I'm right off to the sunset.
That's awesome. You have definitely shared a lot of great nuggets for all of us, new entrepreneurs as well as those who have been in our business 10, 15, 20 years. That value of your time, the value of your time, that's my biggest takeaway, the value of your time. What can you do that you're passionate about that will allow you to not only make income, but to gain some of your time back and be able to pass down to the future generations?
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming to the show. You are a phenomenal man. You are doing extremely well, and I would not dare not have an entrepreneur show and not have one of the best entrepreneurs in the city on our show.
I'm humbled by that and honored.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for coming.
Anytime.
Stay tuned for our next show. You don't want to miss it. We have more for you. Real talk for true entrepreneurs. See you next time.
Good luck, everybody.
Today's episode is sponsored by PJ Townsend Fam, who is an expert at providing purpose-driven content for faith-based organizations, nonprofits, as well as emerging and upcoming businesses.